Hi, in this video, we are going to learn about the newly added activities in the persistent activity set, which is the complete task, the get form task, get task data, and a property, kind of like an advancement that has happened on the assigned task, which gives you the ability of reassigning the tasks as well. So to get the activities package in the first place, we are going to click on the manage packages, go to the official feed and search for the persistent activity packages. And you will get the latest version from here itself, right? Once you install the latest version, you can simply click on save. Activity package will get available for you to use in the activities pane. So once the activity is installed in the activities pane under long running workflow, you will get the activities, and within the task, you will get the newly added activities, which is the complete task, the get form task, the get task data, the forward task, and obviously there is an improvement on the assigned task as well. And we are going to look at all of these by taking an example use case. And for this particular example use case, we are going to look at the workflow that we had of travel expense approval, wherein the confirmation task was created for the user. Once confirmed by the travel manager, it goes to an external system to be approved by the direct manager, and then once the direct manager approves, it comes back to the user for their feedback. And in this particular flow, we did not talk about the SLAs, but this time we are going to introduce some SLAs, and we are going to see how the new activities are going to help you in managing those SLAs automatically as well. So let's imagine that once the validation task is created, the time given to the user to complete this validation task is 2 days, and beyond which it has to be escalated to the new escalation manager, whoever is handling this particular task. So this needs to be taken care of. Similarly, let's imagine that once the external task is created, the time given for this particular task to be taken action on is 2 days. And if no action has been detected for over 2 days, the task should autocomplete. And this is also something that we are going to take care of when we are designing the workflow. And the last one, in the feedback task, if the user does not take action for 2 days again, so we are going to keep the SLA consistently 2 days, just for the sake of simplicity and uniformity for all the levels. Uh, so if the user does not take any action for 2 days, we are going to forward this task to the escalation manager as well. So we have three scenarios wherein we are going to uh, use the newly created activities. First, to reassign the activities. Uh, if no action has been taken on the validation task, to autocomplete the external task if no action has been taken on the external task, and also to forward the task if no action has been taken on the feedback task by the current user. And to build all these things, we are going to provide you a skeletal workflow that is already divided into these three specific workflows. First is the reassign task, the second is the autocomplete task, and third is the forward of the form task, the feedback task. So we'll start with the reassignment of the task, and in here you are going to have a few of the things already done for you. Let me walk you through that. The first call is done to get the list of all the validation task that has been created so far, and then iteratively we are going to look at each of the tasks, and for each of the tasks we are going to compare the date with the relative date. By the way, the relative date or the reference date for all these workflows have been set 2 days ahead of today's date, so that the SLA breach can be demonstrated in this particular example. So if the SLA breach is detected, which is what the condition suggests here, we are going to reassign that task to the escalation manager, right? Uh, so there is only one thing that we need to do here. We have to just simply drag and drop the assigned task, and we are going to provide the correct inputs to this. I have uh, I have the task user assignment prepared here, and that is what I have to pass here as well. So I simply have to write new, because it accepts a list of user assignment, and then from, and in that form I have to mention the task user assignment that I have. So this is what I was talking about. The task assignment type is a new addition to assigned task activity, wherein you, apart from the option of assigning, you also have the option of reassigning. And just by doing that, you will be reassigning this particular task according to the task user assignment that you have set in here, right? Just like that, you will be able to take care of reassignment of the task, specifically the validation task that is getting created. Now let's work on auto completion of the external task. Again, here you will get some work already done for you. The major heavy lifting has been done apart from the newly introduced activities. So let me walk you through the workflow first. The first activity is a request to actually fetch all the tasks of type external task, and then whose title is about travel and approve receipt, and whose status is not equals to completed. So based on these conditions, I'll get the list of all the tasks that is not completed, and that is of type external, and that has a specific title which is closely related to the workflow that we have built. um, Once we get this, we convert it into a JSON object, and then we iterate over it to deal with all the tasks one at a time. And in here, we have to do a couple of things. First of all, we will use get task data to get the task data into a task object form. The get task data activity takes the task ID as an input, which we will get in this particular case from the item itself. And I can write something like item ID. This will give me the task ID of the item that we are dealing with, and the task object will hold the object for me going forward. Next, we again match the SLA condition, and we see if the difference is greater and equals to SLA days. In this case, it is set to 2. And then we will go ahead and if this condition is met, we are going to complete the task. And for completing the task, we have this activity here called complete task that we can drag and drop in here. We can provide the task ID. Now that we have the task object, we can simply do task object dot id dot value to get the task ID. We have to provide the action, and the action is going to be approved, since after the SLA is breached, we have to auto approve the task. And then that's pretty much it. This will complete the external task for me, and I can proceed with my process. Now let's complete the last workflow that will help us in forwarding the form task for the current user. And again, the heavy lifting is done for you. You will need to deal with just the new activities that has been introduced. So let me walk you through the workflow. The first activity is an HTTP request to the orchestrator to get the information for the current user, and using that current user we are going to uh, pass the current user information when we are filtering the form task, because we can only forward the task that has been assigned to the current user, um, and not the task that is in somebody else's bucket. So in here we are going to use get form tasks to get all the form tasks based on certain conditions, and in here we are going to use certain filter, and that filter is something that is given in here. We have to set the title, we have to check for the status, and we have to check for the assigned to user ID. And the user ID that I'm getting is something that I have extracted in just the step above this particular step. So for get form task, I can set this particular filter up, and that's my filter, and the output of the information is something that I can get as an output in the task objects. Another thing to take a note of in this particular spot is that there is something called reference that has been added, and this reference can be used to create filters as well. This reference is something that you will be mentioning in your uh, main workflow as well, where this task is getting created. So in here, if you see this for this particular task, in the properties, you will get the reference field. The reference field, this reference field has to be set with some kind of value that can be used by get form task activity to filter it out for you wherever this activity is being used. Right. So this get form task will help you in getting all the form task according to the filter that has been set so far. And then you are going to again check if the SLA has been breached. And if the SLA has been breached, you have to forward this task to the escalation manager. And for that, we simply have to use an activity called forward task. We can drag and drop it here just below the helpful comment that has been placed there, and I can do something like item.id.value to suggest which item I need to forward, and then I'm going to use escalation manager as the person to which this task needs to be forwarded to. I also need to provide some relevant comment to this particular activity, so that this comment gets registered while forwarding the task. And for that, um, I'm going to provide a meaningful comment, which is going to be something like this: the task was not acted upon for the number of duration for which it was not acted upon, and then because of which we are forwarding it to the escalation manager. So that's pretty much it. Now, just remember that whenever this particular workflow runs, it runs 2 days ahead of today's date. So it is always going to breach the SLA that we have kept for all the tasks. So let's start running it and see it in action. And we can run it from here. So it is going to create the confirmation task. And it has now created the a validation task, and it has gone into the wait state. And this, I can see it in here in my pending actions. I have this new task that has been created for me to be acted to take action on. So let's suppose I did not take action on this particular task for 2 days, and the robot that is maintaining my SLAs and detecting the SLA breach to take action on kicks in. That will be this task, and once it runs, it'll get all the tasks, and this could be any number of tasks, not just the one that is created. It could be all the tasks that has breached the SLA. these will be escalated uh, forward. As you can see, that escalation has been matched for the task ID, and it must have been reassigned. So if I see it here, I have the same task ID, and if I refresh this, it should just vanish from here. And if I go to manage actions, I should see it in the pending state, but in somebody else's bucket. This is the escalation manager. And if I see on the action summary, I will see that this was originally assigned to me, but this has been reassigned to Anjan Gogoi, who is the escalation manager at the moment. So once this is handled by the escalation manager, right now I don't have access to that ID, so I'll simply go back and reassign it to myself. But let's suppose that this was assigned to Anjan Gogoi and he takes action on it. And for taking the action, he'll simply go ahead and approve this based on the value that is there, right? And I approve this. Once approved, I'll be able to move forward in my main workflow. So my main workflow goes back, it kicks back in, and it creates the external task and waits for it. Again, imagine that nobody took action on the external task as well, and the external task has breached the SLA. That is, 2 days has gone by without any action. It and then the robot that is managing the SLAs kicks in, and the autocomplete process starts to run. And this autocomplete task is going to take all the external task that has been waiting for more than 2 days and will complete the task. So once this task is completed, let's check it on the panel as well. If I refresh this, this should just move to the completed state. There it is. So once completed, our main workflow will resume. And then it has created the last task. That is the form feedback task that has been assigned to me again. If I go ahead and see it in here on my pending states, pending actions, I have this action that I need to take uh, action on. But let's suppose again, I did not take action for a couple of days, and my SLA managing bot triggers in, and it runs the forward form task workflow from here. What it'll do is it'll get all the items, all the action tasks that has been created for me, and then it is going to check for the SLA breach. And because it was breached, it is going to forward it to the escalation manager. How it looks on the action one. And now if I refresh this, it will just vanish from my pending items. And if I go to manage actions, it is going to be assigned to the escalation manager. And if I see on the action summary, the comment that I provided will be visible in here as well. The task was not acted upon for 2 days, forwarding it to the escalation manager. And that's it. That's how you can manage the SLAs from the robots using the new activity set as well. Just for a quick recap, what we saw is a collection of new activities that has been added to the persistent activity set, namely the complete task, the forward task, the get form task, and get task data. We saw the newly added parameter to assign task, wherein we get the capability of reassigning the task from one user to the other, and using which we created a workflow that is managing auto managing the SLAs for one of the processes that has been created for Action Center. Thank you for watching.